March 9th, 1979. It was supposed to be just another ordinary day at the Fairview Training Center in Salem, Oregon. But for Janie Landers, an 18-year-old woman with special needs, this day would be anything but ordinary. It would be the last time anyone saw her alive. Janie, who functioned at the level of an 8-year-old, had been living at the center, which housed people with developmental disabilities. She had struggled with learning challenges and behavioral issues. That day, she simply vanished without a trace. The last people to see Janie alive were 4 employees at Fairview. They all remembered something strange: a large, unfamiliar man and his yellow or gold-colored car. According to one witness, this man approached Janie on the street. He was described as a pot-bellied figure, someone who didn't belong. A composite sketch was created from the witness's descriptions. But despite this, and the initial investigation, Janie's disappearance went unsolved. Then, on March 14th, 5 days after she went missing, Janie's body was discovered near Silver Falls State Park. She had been violently attacked, suffering serious injuries from multiple stabbings. But no one knew who had done this to her. Fast forward to March 2015. Janie's sister, Joyce Hooper, was now 50 years old. Her father, Richard Landers, was 82. They had lived with the heartbreak of Janie's murder for decades, but Joyce couldn't let it go. She reached out to the Oregon State Police, asking them to take another look at her sister's case. Detective Steve Hinkle took on the cold case. He carefully examined hundreds of old police reports. He spoke to anyone still alive who might have known something, and with each new clue, a chilling picture began to form. Forensic scientists revisited the evidence. They focused on Janie's shirt, hoping to find a clue, and they did: DNA. The blood stain on her shirt didn't match hers, it matched a man's. That man's name was Gerald Kenneth Dunlap. His past was dark, filled with violence. In 1961, Dunlap was found guilty of sexual assault and armed robbery in Tennessee, sentenced to life in prison. But 12 years later, he was paroled. He moved to California, where he had to register as a sex offender. Later, he moved to Oregon, where at the time, sex offender registration wasn't required. In Oregon, he found work at the Fairview Training Center as a laundry employee. At Fairview, Dunlap's co-workers remembered him as strange. He often left work early, loitered near the bus stop, and offered rides to the patients, including Janie. In 1996, Dunlap was arrested again, this time for sexually abusing a young family member. Dunlap was found guilty by a Marion County jury and sentenced to prison. He died there in January 2002. His DNA was collected and entered into a database. Years later, this would become crucial evidence. Hinkle continued his investigation. He compared old photos of Dunlap with the composite sketch. The resemblance was unmistakable. 2 of the original witnesses from 1979, who had seen Janie talking to the man before she vanished, were still alive. When shown a photo lineup, both identified Dunlap, though they weren't 100% sure. Dunlap's former stepson also helped piece together the puzzle. He said that Dunlap often hiked near the area where Janie's body was found. He also confirmed that Dunlap had a car similar to the one seen by witnesses. Prosecutors put all the pieces together. They theorized that Dunlap, a 43-year-old man, likely offered Janie a ride that day. When she resisted his advances, he grew angry. He attacked her, stabbing and beating her until she was unalive. In March 2016, Detective Hinkle visited Janie's family. He brought them a pair of earrings that had once belonged to Janie, along with other small belongings. It wasn't much, but for Joyce and her father, it represented something they'd longed for: the end of the mystery, the end of their pain. The knowledge that Janie's killer had been identified and would never hurt anyone again. Joyce told Detective Hinkle, "I'm really grateful and relieved that it's done. She can be totally at peace now because her case is solved." Janie Landers may have been taken too soon, but her story is not forgotten. Thanks to the persistence of her family, the dedication of Detective Hinkle, and the courage of other victims who came forward, Janie's case was finally solved. And for the first time in over 38 years, her family could find peace.